The land was covered with a thick layer of frosty white substance. It was a time when ponies and fillies played in the snow, enjoying the temporary cold season. Rainbow was even enjoying the weather. Heartwarming was her favorite season, but it could be cold at times, especially at the altitudes she likes flying at. She was heading to Shikikip Corner to buy some pastries for herself, and upon landing, she wasted no time in getting inside and out of the cold. Inside the shop was warm, and she guessed that was reason enough for it being as packed as it was. As usual, Pinkie Pie was at her place behind the counter, selling the delectable treats to customers. Most ponies who lived in Ponyville knew how good of a baker Pinkie was, and just on this occasion, she would always make candy canes, all of different colors and flavors, some being a creation of her own. The shop was decorated too. Streamers and balloons that fit the theme of the season were organized and displayed all around. Even a Christmas tree stood in the corner of the shop. Rainbow admired the work and effort Pinkie had gone through to spruce the place up, and upon seeing that now was her chance to buy something, she approached the cashier's desk, where she was immediately greeted by her friend.
"Hey, Adashi! What's up?"
Pinkie waved to her friend, grinning widely.
"Can I get you anything?"
"Hey, Pinkie! Got any specials on for the season?" Rainbow asked hopefully, to which Pinkie's face lit up in an instant.
"Oh, do I ever? I was making some new candy cane flavors to sell in the shop, and when I thought of you, I was wondering what all the flavors of the rainbow would taste like all together. So I made some, and they're super duper sugar-tastically good. Here, try one."
Pinkie took a box out from under the counter labeled Rainbow Canes and handed Rainbow one, whom accepted it. Moments later, giving it a single lick, her face lighting up at all the flavors of strawberry and blueberry and orange washing over her tongue. It tasted heavenly, and when Pinkie caught her look, she smiled approvingly.
"I knew you'd like them, Rainbow. I think they were pretty good, too. Tell you what, why don't you take a box? And since it's heartwarming, I'll let you take some free of charge."
Rainbow was about to object to the generous offer, but Pinkie simply waved her off with a hoof, knowing what she would say.
No buts. Consider it a present from me. You are a friend of mine, after all." "Thanks, Pinkie. I'll make it up to you later, okay? I gotta go now, though. I'll see you around."
Rainbow waved farewell to her friend as she left, the cold almost instantly taking over her warm figure. She took off to the skies with the box of candy on her back, heading towards an old friend's house, Fluttershy's house. She could feel nervousness slither along her cold frame, making her worry a little. Each year, she would always think of asking her something she wanted to say for years, but couldn't bring herself to do so. She had no idea if she felt the same way, or if she said no. But more of all, would it create any weirdness between them? Or worse, destroy their friendship? The very thought of such a thing made Rainbow's insides churn. She steeled herself as she neared her friend's house, eventually stopping at the door. Being really close to each other, they spent every Heartswarming week together, like any good friends would. Fluttershy always knew how to have a good time, and Rainbow could actually be herself around her. Rainbow would insist that they go to her house for the occasion, but Fluttershy would always be the passive one. In truth, Rainbow didn't see it as being fair, but she knew that was just Fluttershy sometimes. She knocked gently on the door 3 times with a hoof, soon hearing that sweet-sounding voice that belonged to Fluttershy. Telling her to come in, smiling, Rainbow opened the door and walked into the inviting warmth of her friend's house. Closing the door behind her, she approached Fluttershy, who was sat on the couch, a book in her hooves. Rainbow sat next to her, smiling at her.
You've been reading that for a while now, Fluttershy,
is all she said as she saw Fluttershy smile warmly back at her. The kind that made Rainbow's heart melt.
Actually, I'm rereading it. I just love it so much. And I know how much you like to read too, Dash.
She giggled at the embarrassed blush that came to Rainbow's face.
Yeah. I've read pretty much every Daring Do book. But come on! Those stories are undeniably awesome. How can I not read them?
She smiled again at Fluttershy, whose smile mirrored her own. Rainbow loved that smile more than anything. Whenever she did it, she just looked so cute. She wished that she could give her a kiss and confess her feelings, but she didn't want to rush things, knowing what Fluttershy might think. What others would think if a word got out. Fluttershy noticed the box beside Rainbow, eyeing the label that read Rainbow Canes. Curious, she looked back to Dash's magenta eyes.
So, you've been to Sugar Cube Corner?
Fluttershy asked, motioning to the box with her eyes. Rainbow followed her gaze, landing on the box full of candy canes.
Yeah. Pinky made a new flavor of candy cane, and I thought maybe you'd want to try one. They taste pretty good, too. See what you think.
Rainbow opened the lid and took out a candy cane in the colors of the rainbow. Handing it to Fluttershy, she watched as she inspected it as if wondering what flavor it was. She gave it a curious lick, lips curling into a smile at the taste of mixed fruit, all parts of the rainbow. Strawberry, orange, blueberry, banana, pure heaven.
Wow, they're pretty good,
Fluttershy admitted, smiling to herself. Rainbow moved closer, to the point where her side was nearly touching Fluttershy's. Fluttershy looked a little confused at first, wondering what Rainbow was doing. Slowly, she opened her wing, pulling out some kind of book. Upon closer inspection, Fluttershy noticed it was a scrapbook. Rainbow opened it, showing her the pictures of their younger years together. The first was the two of them as kids, hugging friendly and smiling. They must have been like 4. They looked through it for a good few hours, and shared giggles and a couple stories of those times, remembering them like they happened not long ago. At some point, they must have fallen asleep while looking through the book, snoring softly as they lay slumped against each other. Yawning silently, Rainbow cracked open her eye, seeing Fluttershy with her hooves around her barrel, holding her loosely. She smiled at her as she slept. A blush ignited her cheeks as she leaned forward, softly rubbing a cheek into Fluttershy's, enjoying that soft feeling. She had no idea how long it lasted, but when she moved back, she saw that Fluttershy was smiling in her sleep, presumably from the nice feeling of Dash's cheek against her own. Fluttershy shuffled softly, cuddling Rainbow slightly tighter as she pulled her closer, as if she were a teddy bear. Feel her warm breath as she exhaled in short, soft breaths. Not wanting to wake her, as carefully as she could, Rainbow tried to wriggle herself from Fluttershy's grasp. Getting her hoof free, she gently tried to pry Fluttershy's wanting hooves off of her barrel, causing her to grunt as she slept. Pulling it free with little effort, Rainbow sighed quietly in relief. Turning her attention to the scrapbook she brought earlier, she looked at the picture taped to the back. It was of her and Fluttershy hugging closely with grins on their faces. Below the picture, written on the border, was 2 best friends forever. She giggled softly at it. She looked outside, seeing it had gone dark outside, snowing heavily. She panicked a little when she realized she hadn't been back to see Pinky like she said she would. She turned her head back to Fluttershy, who whom gave a nearly silent yawn and looked up at her with sleepy eyes.
Rainbow? What are you doing? Is everything okay?
She asked, slowly climbing off the couch and approaching Rainbow.
Yeah, everything's fine. It's just that I promised Pinky I'd be back to see her about the candy canes. Guess I can wait until morning, though. It's getting late, Fluttershy. I guess I should be getting home. Oh.
Fluttershy sounded disappointed, averting her gaze to the floor as she slowly pawed at it in an awkward manner.
Fluttershy?
Rainbow cocked her head to the side, Fluttershy looking back into her eyes.
It's just that it's snowing outside.
She motioned towards the window, watching the heavy flakes fall.
Huh? It's no big deal, Fluttershy. A little snow won't stop me.
Rainbow turned, hugging Fluttershy goodbye before she made her way for the door, about to open it when she was stopped by Fluttershy.
Wait! Rainbow, don't go! Can't you stay with me? Please?
Rainbow raised a brow, slowly retracting her hoof from the door handle. Staring back at her lifelong friend, she even noticed a small blush on her cheeks.
I mean, if it's not any trouble, but it's just that I'm all alone here. I like being alone, Dashie.
Her voice almost sounded desperate, a hint of loneliness lingering within it. Rainbow almost seemed confused by her sudden behavior and her desire to keep her close to her. Rainbow came face to face with Fluttershy, looking into her eyes before hugging her softly, whispering into her ear.
Okay, I'll stay. For you.
Fluttershy hugged her back, thanking her.
Oh, thank you, Rainbow. But...
Rainbow moved from Fluttershy, seeing her rubbing the back of her head awkwardly as a deep crimson blush burned her cheeks.
I was maybe thinking that if you don't want to stay down here, you could, sleep with me?
She was now blushing a crimson brighter than Rainbow had ever seen her do, as was herself, staring into her friend's eyes, but she avoided contact.
Fluttershy! I could sleep on the couch! It's no trouble! I'll be fine down here! Please, just this once, Rainbow. Come to bed with me?
Fluttershy asked pleadingly, puppy dog eyes digging into Rainbow's. She wanted to say yes. She truly did. But would this change their relationship? As much as Rainbow wanted to be held by her like before, she didn't want it to jeopardize the friendship they had for so long. Since they were fillies, Rainbow has had a bit of a crush on her without her knowing. And even she has had suspicions on Fluttershy about her liking her back in the same way. Could this have been her way of letting her know?
Fluttershy, if we do this, I don't want it to create any weirdness between us. I mean, we've known each other forever, Fluttershy. I don't want to ruin that. You won't, Rainbow. I promise that it doesn't have to create anything weird between us. Okay then, Fluttershy. For you, I'll do it.
Upstairs in Fluttershy's bedroom, Rainbow and Fluttershy laid in bed, holding each other tightly as they snuggled together. Rainbow enjoying the feeling of Fluttershy's mane on her cheek, that sweet vanilla-like aroma emitting from it. Fluttershy felt quite soft, Rainbow noted, hugging her like a teddy. Fluttershy had long fell asleep in Rainbow's arms, sleeping soundly on her friend's shoulder. Rainbow gently stroked her mane with the hoof, enjoying its silkiness. Rainbow leaned close to Fluttershy, blushing as she quietly pressed her lips to hers, the taste of the multi-flavored candy cane still lingering there, adding a beautiful bliss to the moment. A smile crept onto Fluttershy's lips from the feeling, and before Rainbow decided to drift into the world of dreams, she whispered into Fluttershy's ear.
Happy heartwarming, Fluttershy. I love you.